Hello, and welcome back to the channel. I am Mahogany, also known as Mahogany Maxine, also known as Maxine. You can just call me Mahogany or Maxine, whichever you prefer. But yeah, welcome back. It's been a minute since I posted a video, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. So what we're working on today is As Told by Ginger's House from the Nickelodeon series from the late 90s, early 2000s, As Told by Ginger. It was one of my favorite cartoons growing up, and I wanted to do a cartoon house. I kind of think I want to start a series of TV to The Sims, something, I'll probably call it something like As Seen on TV, something like that. But I loved the character Ginger. I loved the relationship she had with her mother, and I really just loved the whole like visual of that show. So I wanted to do a house like that. The thing about cartoons in general, at least cartoons from that era, and I mean, I guess it just depends on the animation, but what I'm trying to say is that like it's very symmetrical, which is not like how I usually build in The Sims, but anyway, so right now you see me messing with the roof. It actually took me a while, and that's why you'll see a few cuts, because it took me a while to figure out the roof, because I'm not the best roofer, and I remembered this trick I saw a little Simsy do, of hiding the house in the roof, and I was like, oh, I could just do that. But it took me a while to get there. So now we're getting to the nitty-gritty of the build. I think it came out good. Now, obviously, we don't have all the exact things that were in the show in The Sims, but I wanted to get it as close to true as possible. Now, with animation, they can kind of create whatever they want, like whatever reality. They could say the house is a small house, but then the rooms are really big or whatever, just because of the perspective and the creativity of the artists, the animators. So the house is really meant to be humble and small, because Ginger's family, the Foutleys, before her mother got remarried, Lois, she was a nurse. She, it wasn't indicated that they had a lot of money. Ginger was very humble, didn't have all the most popular things, and got made fun of for that. But so this is meant to be a very humble, small, but cozy home. So even though it's small, it's cozy, it's well kept. Some things may be a little old or broken, but they take care of it and they care about it, especially Lois, because she's a hardworking single mom of 2. So I wanted to display that. Now, I am building this in Willow Creek, which halfway through I was like, I honestly think this would look great in Cooperdale, but I never moved it. So if you do put it down, I think Cooperdale would be a great place to put it, just because it goes with the theme of the show. I think high school years in general would be a great pack to play through an LP of As Told by Ginger, because of all the characters. So if you don't remember, there was a lot of characters on Ginger, As Told by Ginger. So Ginger Foutley, she's the main character, the main protagonist, and she really wants to be popular, but she's so smart and has such a gravitas. She has good friends, and she is a good girl, but wants to kind of be a little bit more edgy, if that makes sense. So yeah, she goes to Lucky Junior High. That's the name of the high school in the show. And she always wanted to be Miss Popular, extreme popularity. And she just doesn't feel certain that she can really take on the challenge of being popular. She's a really good writer, and that's what she does in her free time. And she also really stands up for herself. That was one big thing, and that's why As Told by Ginger hit different, I think, for our generation. Is it really was this girl who may not have been conventionally attractive, because she had this red curly hair, and I think during the time it was very not popular to be a redhead. I don't really know too much about the redhead plight, but I know that there was some drama that is like the kind of the not so popular thing to be is a redhead. People want to be blonde or have jet black hair or what have you. But yeah, she had very specific looks that stood out. But she's very close to her mom, which is something that stood out. I was talking about that earlier. She is a little brother named Carl who was very annoying, and his best friend name is Hoodsy. I don't know if you remember him, but they hung out in this thing called the doghouse, which I didn't get to actualize that in this build because I just couldn't figure out how to get it right, because this is on not a platform but a foundation, and with the foundations it's hard to build on the side of it without it like being wonky. So I ended up doing something different in the backyard. But anyway, yeah, her younger brother, who loves to like gross her out and bother her all the time, but he is really admire his big sister secretly. She'll never know it. But yeah, we just worked on the kitchen. I'm going in between talking about the show and the actual build, but you see that we just finished working on the kitchen, which I'd like doing the orangey cabinets with the greens and the darker wood tones. Now we're working on the living room. Now, I haven't watched the show in a really long time. I know it's on Paramount Plus, and I think I want to rewatch it because I honestly went on just Google and tried to get pictures of the house. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just get the essence. A lot of stuff was green and brown and yellow and a couple pops of blue here and there. So I wanted to get that essence. So it's, again, not a one of one, but get the vibe. Humble. Things are quaint and small. So I used some stuff from the basement kit that we got. It's, a broken lamp here and there. And the kitchen is a focal point of the first floor because it's a small house, but the kitchen is big. So a lot of greens and a full-size fridge, a full-size oven, microwave, but they're older. So I wanted to keep it kind of like they've had these things for a while, they take care of them, but the priority here is not having the latest and greatest. The priority is to just have things that work and are good for the family. I did want to put some plants here. I may be misremembering, but I feel like Lois had a thing for plants, and this is why I want to rewatch the series, because I just want to remember all the fine details, because I may do this again depending on what I discover by rewatching. Because I was thinking like high school years, create all the characters. There were so many good characters. Courtney, who was pretty much Ginger's arch nemesis / admirer. They had a love-hate relationship, frenemy relationship. And then there was Darren. Darren was he was like one of her best friends. He had braces. He had a whole headgear situation. There was just such rich characters. Dodie, oh my goodness, Dodie. She was I think her last name was Bishop, and she was a super chatty and always had the latest gossip and kind of annoyed Ginger, but they were friends, really good friends. And Marcy Lightfoot, if you heard any beeping in the background, my windows are open, so I'm sorry if that bothers you. That was a big honk from a car. But anyway, yeah, there were just so many good characters that I really am contemplating creating all of them, putting them on the gallery, and then maybe, I don't know, I don't play the game all the time, actually do LP, but maybe do a LP of As Told by Ginger and the whole Lucky Junior High. Let me know in the comments if you'd be wanting to watch that, because I probably do it on stream. I guess it's a good place to talk about it. I stream also. So if you're discovering me for the first time here, hi, hello. I stream on Twitch as well. I am coming back in September. So I will be back to a regular schedule, and we do have a 12-hour stream coming up soon. If you're watching this after that happens, you missed it, but feel free to join my Twitch. It is twitch.tv/MahoganyMaxine. It will be in the comments below. So yeah, now we are working on the bedroom for Lois. I kind of skipped over all the living room space, but this is Lois's bedroom. She is a nurse. She works really hard. She is a single parent, and I remember she had I believe a purple bed set, and that's what image I saw on Google, so it had to be true, I guess. But she works at the Lucky Memorial Hospital, and she has a friend, Nurse Betty, and she loves to make things by hand. A very, very big DIY her. She doesn't like to buy new stuff and she's a little bit strict, so she doesn't, like, for example, there was one episode where she made makeup for Ginger and her friends out of things in the house, like crayons and like water and tea and other things, like, we're not spending money, we can create it, we can make makeup. So she's very much that kind of person. And she drives a Volkswagen Beetle. In the screenshots you'll see a pickup truck. I end up changing it. I change it off camera, so if you download it from gallery, it'll have the closest thing to a Beetle that we have in the game. But yeah, she does drive one of those, but I think is such a cute personality quirk because she has 2 kids. And she's a nurse, and instead of having a bigger car or like a pickup truck or something that would be more accommodating, it's like something for herself, like this very cute blue Volkswagen Beetle. So in the build, so we did jump around a little bit. I'm trying to be better about building, like finishing one room and moving to the other, but I still do this thing where I jump around. So if that makes you feel a little seasick, I'm so sorry, but that's what I do. And then I skip over me cluttering this side table because it took so long for me to do it. I wanted to get the little stuff on the bottom. I wish that was a real slot, but it's not. So now, this is Carl's room. So we're working on Carl Foutley, Ginger's little brother. He is a 4th grader. So I wanted to kind of show that he was like a younger sibling, give it that young, but also, kind of had a little bit personality of his own. He is a little bit punk rock. He likes being outside. He likes doing science projects, and he, I don't know, he's just kind of like a gross little boy, and I wanted to keep it kid-like but not too like juvenile. So you have a bookshelf in there, a lot of functional items just for like the Sims. So if you do play the game, if you want to actually play, make sure the Sims have a place to do their homework, make sure they have a place to sleep, a place to collect, get books from. So I did want to make it still functional but still showing his personality. It is a very small room, so that is the one challenge here, is that I wanted to like kind of stuff everything in this room. And yeah, he's described as having a little bit of a disturbing personality, which I don't remember him being like. The word disturbing sounds a little dramatic, but he's always like, seems like he's planning and plotting, like a little bit of a sneaky guy. He loves saying the thing classified, if you remember from the show. He likes being mysterious, which I think just is a part of not growing up with both your parents in the house, like just kind of creating your personality from the TV or from older people that you watch, because those are your influences. So I feel like he was influenced by something that he watched at one point, and then that just became his personality. But I could be wrong. But he does have a big heart. He delivers a eulogy in one episode, and he cries, and he's a sweet boy, but he has a very specific personality as a little boy, at the same time. So yeah, I wanted the room to reflect that. I wanted it to be a little gross, a little, showing his kid side at the same time, and yeah, like a little grungy, as grungy as we can make it in The Sims. Yeah. So now we are working on the bathroom. So usually I don't film my bathrooms, or at least put it in the video, but I liked how this bathroom came out, just simple black and white. It's a small bathroom. I had to rearrange some of the angles, or not the angles, but the windows to fit in the space, so that it made sense for routing with the gameplay. And this is the downstairs bathroom, but it's the one that Lois and Carl share, so I wanted to give a little bit of that flair of items that Carl would have in the bathroom. And then it's the hall bathroom that's downstairs. And now we are cluttering the bookshelf here and putting some things on the side. I didn't really know how to clutter this bookshelf at first, but I think just a bunch of books. They're big readers, and nothing too meticulously organized. Lois doesn't have time to organize, and the kids definitely don't have time to organize or couldn't be bothered organizing. So I wanted to put a nice painting up here that made sense. And now we're moving upstairs. So this upstairs area is really indicated to be Ginger's space completely. Now, in this show, I don't remember whether she lived upstairs, downstairs. I don't remember exactly how the house floor plan was, and maybe when I rewatch it, I'll start to remember, and I'll start to see that it wouldn't be very practical for The Sims. But I wanted the upstairs to really be kind of her lair, because she has a lot of friends that come over. She has Dodie and Macy and Darren, so I wanted this to be like an oasis, a teen oasis. So the bathroom has lots of pops of color, and I end up changing, I'm doing it now. I'm putting a shelf back here from base game, which I did not realize now has slots. I was prepared with my red shelf to use the red shelf, but I was like, oh, I didn't realize this had slots because I never use it. So yeah, I want to put some hair product stuff in here because she has a big ginger curly fro that she has to maintain. So we have the old school hair dryer here, some combs. We also have a retainer. I don't remember her having braces, but I just feel like she would have a retainer. So putting a lot of clutter that has a lot of color. When we do move to her room, it kind of is an overload of color, and I like it. You let me know what you think about it. In the TV show, her room had a lot of horses on the wall. It was horse murals. It was just a lot of horse memorabilia, and we don't really have that in The Sims, so I wanted to keep it cohesive with like these like flowers and berries from the pastel pop kit. I wanted to keep that same theme of like one thing that anchors the room, because if you Google images of her room, you'll see just a bunch of horses everywhere and it's cute, and it's a lot of green and blues and yellows. So I took some creative liberties here because she is in high school. She's a teenager, so I wanted to like give it that teenager vibe, but the theme being flowers and berries, and and a lot of color, definitely a lot of color. So now we are cluttering the heck out of this bookshelf. So I wanted to clutter it, so I had to. It looks a little messy right now, the saying, halfway through surgery it looks like murder. So I just wanted to clutter that because I sized it down, and when you size down items, what happens is if you put an item in that same area, the game will recognize it as being the same shelf, but because you size it down, it doesn't look like it's on the shelf, if that makes sense. So anyway, I put down some nifty knitting because I feel like she would have a hobby of knitting, and an old school computer. Definitely not getting a new one anytime soon. That's the house. We're soon coming up on doing the outside, and I really love how her room came out. I forgot that I did this little area. Well, bonus, a bonus surprise. So I did this little lounge area, kind of feeding off of the whole idea that this is her oasis. This is her creative and kind of her getaway with her friends. A really nice space. I feel like teen girls teens in general deserve their own private space, and this is just like an indicator of this is her area where, you know, Carl and Hoodsy are not allowed. I also put a piano here with that sort of Pink Floyd-esque music poster there. I have a feeling like it's just some more skill building. Like if I did do an LP of As Told by Ginger, I'd probably first rewatch the series, not full on all of it, but a lot of it, and then figure out what hobbies in The Sims would best match Ginger and the rest of the characters. So tell me what you think about that. Like, what hobbies do you think she does? I feel like knitting is very par for the course. I feel like maybe painting. I need to rewatch the series because I feel like someone knows the answer. In the comments, someone's going to be like, she actually loved doing this. Maybe horseback riding. Now that we have the horse pack, maybe we can, in some alternate reality, she starts, you know, getting a horse, because Lois definitely can't afford a horse for her children. So now we are doing the outside. So I did kind of minimal landscaping. I kept it pretty true to a screenshot I saw on the internet of the exterior. So the yellow with the brown, and then these bushes. So I kept it pretty true to that. I didn't want to do too much changing in the front just because it's a very iconic image. So I wanted to keep that iconography. And then in the back, this is where I put a few skill building items. So yeah, we put some flowers by the door. I wanted to give the skill building items for Lois for planting, because I feel like I remember that she really likes plants. So just a couple of garden beds to do some, you know, seasonal planting, which I think she would like because she loves to cook. So, you know, a couple of spinach here and there, maybe some aubergines or something, I'm not sure, but I feel like that would be nice. And for the doghouse, which if you watch the show, you remember there was a doghouse for their dog Monster who ran away. But that's where Carl and Hoodsy would hang out. That was Carl's like secret lair. There was no way for me to build that for this, at least for me in my skill level. There was no way for me to build it. So I put the tent there to kind of act as their little secret area. And then I'm putting some patio tables, so just in case they have friends over and they want to just have a quick little outdoor dinner. You know, because Lois does end up dating, and then she ends up getting remarried. So I remember that does happen. I forget to who, but that does happen. So I feel like there's a point in her life where she was entertaining, to an extent at least. So yeah. All right, well, we are coming up on the screenshots. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.